Hey YouTube, it's Lachlan Robertson, the video game reviewer here. So recently SEGA has just announced or teased an announcement they just made recently called the Spectrum, and it's been making quite a stir on the internet at the moment. You know, obviously causing a lot of rumors and quite a lot of other things in those rumors. So, like for example, people are saying it's going to be a new console, and someone asked me the other day, "What are your thoughts on it?" And I thought, well, instead of telling that person, I thought I'd make a video for everyone to see, which about my opinion and what I think might happen and what I personally think might not happen. So hope you enjoy this video. Also, give it a like down below and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching this video. Okay, so in my opinion, I think with the SEGA Spectrum, I think it would be cool if it was a console. But having said that, you know, SEGA haven't made any consoles since 2001. Their last console was the Sega Dreamcast, and you know, that console had a great library of games, and it built a massive fan base around the world in terms of the people who actually got to play a Sega Dreamcast. Now, as a kid, I grew up with Nintendo. My first, console I ever played was the Super Nintendo at age 1, and I'll never forget. It changed my life. You know, I wouldn't be doing video game reviews or just related videos at all if I didn't play that Super Nintendo. So, thank you, Nintendo. Thank you. But yeah, I think with the Sega Spectrum, I think, you know, it'd be nice to be a console, but you know, being a Nintendo fanboy, growing up with Nintendo, I had a certain hate for Sega, because Sega's advertising was like, when they had the Sega Genesis, for example, it was Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Despite how clever that marketing and advertising is, it's very aggressive. I mean, you know, with Nintendo's ads back in the day, I mean, it was laid back, but it also still kept all the action about, you know, new Super Mario World, and, you know, and you can do this and you can do that, and, you know, coming soon to the Super Nintendo and things like that, you know. So I think, you know, it wasn't all about, we're Sega and we're better than Nintendo, you know. And remember, kids, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. You know, they weren't about that. And, excuse me, I think that's why Nintendo still shines today, because Nintendo is such a humble company, and they thrive to be very humble to all ages of audiences, you know. So, and pretty much, you know, back in the day, Nintendo actually alienated Sega from all the third-party support companies. You know, like when Nintendo released their debut console, the Nintendo Entertainment System in the late '80s, Sega Master System was on the scene too. But you know, and you had third-party support companies like Konami, Capcom, Namco, and the list goes on. You know, and pretty much Nintendo just like took away all those third-party support companies away from Sega. And, you know, there was a time when all of them said, oh, we're going to go over to Sega now and make a few games. And Nintendo was like, oh, well, you know, we don't really want you to do that. You know, here's a big fat sack of cash on the table, like, take it or leave it, you know. And they pretty much stayed with Nintendo and absolutely alienated and burned Sega out and no one wanted to work with Sega. It was all about Nintendo. And then until, like, obviously the Sony PlayStation came along, and then everyone wanted to work with Sony and Nintendo as well. But yeah, anyway, so Sega Spectrum. Well, I know this for a fact, it won't be a console. Well, not for a fact, I won't say that. That I personally think it won't be a console, but I would like it to be a console in that sense, because, you know, I played a Dreamcast just recently, and it's got a great library of games, like, you know, Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi, the first Soul Calibur game, Phantasy Star Online. You know, so it does have, Jet Grind Radio too, as well. And, you know, it does have its fair share of a good library of games and whatnot. So, yeah, I think the Dreamcast is a great console. And these days now, I think, I've learned from not, I've learned now to love Nintendo and Sega, on the same balance. So, yeah, so my opinion of the Sega Spectrum is it probably won't be a new console, but who knows? The thing is, Sega will apparently will announce more details about it at the upcoming E3 Expo in San Francisco I think it's next week. Yeah. So, I guess all we can do is just play the waiting game. But in my opinion, once again, I don't think it'll be a console. Would be nice for it to be a console. But, yeah, so that's my opinion about the Sega Spectrum. So, tune in next time for the next episode. I'll be reviewing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity on Nintendo 3DS. And then next weekend, I'll be doing a review on Animal Crossing New Leaf for the Nintendo 3DS. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Lachlan Robertson signing out, and happy gaming.